Play of the game.
It's high noon. It's Chasca time.
Jesse McCree. Been a while.
Anyway, where were we? Chasca. Bang, 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 bang. Let's talk about Chasca. Chasca has the goofiest E-skill animation of all time, and I love it. All right, you see this gun? We're gonna pretend that this is a 1-1 scale, and this is Chasca. All right, cool. Does everyone understand what Chasca's E-skill looks like now? This is what Chasca's E-skill looks like. I'm glad we're at an understanding. If you're still having a hard time picturing Chasca gameplay, I've been using this as a reference. Okay, so basically she's Gigantamax and Teleon. She's gonna get up in the air and hang out on her little sniper platform and charge her shots and go. She is Gigantamax and Teleon. Okay, so I have some notes we're gonna quickly brush over. She has an elemental skill that puts her on her gun. She enters the Night Soul stance. It will give her 80 Night Soul points. We don't know the duration. We know it's 80 Night Soul points. If we assume it's 10 per second like Mualani, it's 8 seconds. But there is contradictory footage that indicates it might be 12 seconds. I don't know. It's either 8 or 12 seconds, TLDR. Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's 8 per second, it's 10 seconds. Who knows? When she is on her gun, so when she's doing this, she has a normal attack. Never use it. It's a overworld exploration mechanic when you don't want to commit to doing her charge. So she can be played as Wanderer. Don't. Despite being an Animo DPS, Chasca is not an Animo DPS. Chasca's actually a Pyro DPS. What do I mean by that? Let's talk about it. So the way that Chasca does damage is she has a hold or a charge shot. She gets on her gun, and the gun has this UI element that is 6 pistols or 6 bullets, and they charge over time as she locks onto enemies. So if you've ever played a video game, you kind of know what this looks like, where it's you get a bunch of enemies in your crosshairs while an attack is charging, and then you release and it fires all of the projectiles at once. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm not crazy. You've all played a game like this. Have you ever played Batman Arkham Knight with the tank missiles? Or It's High Noon. As she charges, the bullets that she loads into her gun change their element depending on your party order and the feck elements in your party. Feck is Beck. Feck you all. The way Chasca's loading works is it's RNG. I thought there was an order to it. I was wrong. And the interesting thing is there's an RNG component. So if your team is, let's say, a Hydro and 2 Pyro, so Farina, Bennett, Shanling, that third bullet has a 33% chance to be Hydro and a 66% chance to be Pyro. There's an RNG component too. The other thing that I want to note is the multiplier or the talent value for the elemental shots is more than double the talent multiplier for the animo shots. So effectively, the animo shots don't really do damage. You can somewhat ignore them. In more than a few cases at C0, because of how the loading order works, I think you may only want to do 5 charges. So if you play a team with Animo Resonance, for example, your 6th shot will almost always be Animo, and you don't want to do Animo damage, so you just release it at 5 shots. Chasca has a special ICD of every other hit or every 1.5 seconds. Timer rule. So effectively it's every other hit. Okay, so her elemental burst works like this. It fires a big it fires a big bullet. The big bullet splits into a bunch of little bullets, specifically 6 of them. So the 6 little bullets have their elemental damage type determined by the feck in your party. So if you have 3 feck, all 6 will be elemental, and it is 2 per element. So if it's 3 pyro, it'll be 6 pyro. If it is 1 hydro, 2 pyro, 2 will be hydro, 4 will be pyro. And again, the same way with the normal attack or charge shot, where you always want it to be the element, and the animal one does significantly less damage. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna try to do more Zenless content. More Genshin content is coming. Did you know most of you watching are not currently subscribed? You should subscribe. Those are Chasca's mechanics. Let me talk about why I don't like this. Gearing her is very confusing, and her teams are also very confusing because there's a limitation against essentially Animo Resonance / Shillinen, which is an odd choice considering that she is a mono pyro character. You'd think they would want the team to be something like Kazuha, Bennett, Xiangling, and they probably do. And that's why her C1 works this way. What her C1 does is it guarantees the second loaded shot to be converted, and it changes the RNG layout for the third shot. So if you have 2, it's no longer 66-30, it's 100%. Interesting choice. But I think that is the team that they intend for her to play, but I don't think it matters because I think that Farina, Bennett, Xiangling might be too good anyway. It might just be too good anyway. Looking at this on paper, I've blocked out some rough team DPS, so don't take these at face value. But if you want to go with it, basically what you should know is Chasca's own personal damage is really consistent across teams as long as you aren't playing her around Anemo. The thing that I want to highlight by looking at this stuff is that the damage on the team with Farzan is significantly lower than the teams where you just don't do Anemo damage. The teams where you don't intentionally do Anemo damage. The other thing that is up in the air is how much rotation time you save by doing 5 charges instead of 6. Because of the reaction stuff I was talking about earlier, and as well as if you're playing a double Pyro, double Anemo team, that last shot, you don't really care about doing it because it's guaranteed to be Anemo, or can be guaranteed to be Anemo, which is interesting. And I wonder how much time that can save and if it's even impactful. I don't know. We'll see. I doubt it, but no, maybe. But yeah, the other thing that I want to talk about with team damage is that depending on rotation times, using double Anemo or Shilinen may end up being comparable anyway at C0. It really depends how many shots she'll be doing in her E-skill window, because we currently don't know. Something I'm also going to say is, I'm sorry, I don't like charge attack bow characters. I never have, and I never will. Chasca is a charge attack bow character. My criteria for what looks good is going to be significantly higher. I also don't like how inconsistent her build can be, but here's something I will mention. Chasca's optimal gearing may in fact be Pyro Goblet on most weapons and in most teams. A lot of people want to use attack percent Goblet because it's simple. There's a pretty big difference between attack Goblet and Pyro Goblet. I think it's just better to use Pyro. I'm pretty sure right now. It's just better to use Pyro Goblet. Full commit to the Pyro damage? Yeah, full commit to the Pyro damage. We did not know that this was coming, but Electrocharged and Overload are having their base multipliers increased. This will and should make Electrocharge teams very competitive with Pyro teams for Chasca. We need to do additional research, but just know it's not just Pyro anymore. Let's actually talk a bit about her gearing. And depending on how many shots she does, you're either going to use Codex or Scroll. If her personal damage is high enough, you're going to use Codex. If she herself doesn't do enough damage, you're going to use Scroll. All right, cool. Bet. Glad we agree. There are so many bows. For now, I'm borrowing a weapon calc from great community member Prastel. He did a real quick, dirty weapon calc, just assuming full stacks on everything. It works out for reference. TLDR, her 5-star weapon, Astral Vulture's Crimson Plumage. This name is gonna get retranslated. There ain't no way they're keeping this. That's an absurdly long name, and it doesn't mean anything. But anyway, Astral Vulture's Crimson Plumage is so good that it's better than R5 of any other bow you could possibly use on her. Aqua Simulacra R5, worse than R1. First Grade Magic R5, worse than R1. Cool stuff. Thanks, Oyo. What makes it so good, it gives 48 damage bonus for charged attacks, 24 attack percent, and 24 elemental burst damage bonus. That's why it's so good. Anyway, where were we? There are so many 5-star bows. When I started listing out bows to look at, 6 out of 11 of them were 5-star weapons, and they just made one that's ridiculously better for her. I'd expect this weapon to be at minimum a 30% damage increase over any other option. 4-star weapon options: Song of Stillness, Range Gauge, Flower Wreathed Feathers, which is a new weapon that'll be debuting in the update, Scion of the Blazing Sun, and the good old Slingshot. Slingshot is going to depend on how much travel time her projectiles have and how her charged attack is implemented. But if it is implemented in a favorable way, Slingshot could very easily be her best 4-star weapon. It could also very easily be bad on her. It's a 3-star weapon, by the way. Shh, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone that Slingshot's a 3-star weapon. It's a 4-star weapon, okay? It's better than most of them. Yes, also Codex crit rate with a crit rate ascension, she's a crit rate ascension like Mulan, can make Slingshot pretty awkward. This video is sponsored by Tactor. Check out Tactor.com. Tactor is a video game forum. It's very similar to Reddit. Anyone can post, and it also has tools for making guides. If you want to do similar content to me, you can check out my guides on Tactor, and you can make your own and add to the conversation. Check out Tactor. Cool. Yeah, that's Chasca. I don't like this kit. I don't like this kit at all. I don't really care how much damage she does. For the record, her damage doesn't look great right now, but that's super subject to change, and we could be missing something huge, so we're not gonna worry about that. I don't like this kit. I don't like this character. I don't like the inconsistency. I don't like that she's a charge shot character. I don't like this. She's a charge shot character who has to hang out in midair without being interrupted. I don't like any of that. I don't like that she's squishier than Wanderer. She is literally a squishier character. I don't like that her gearing is confusing, because it's not necessarily a problem for me. It's a problem for you. Yeah, you at home who just aren't gonna know how to gear her, especially if you haven't watched this video. If you watch this video, you know, right? You learn. If you have not watched this video, people are gonna build Animo on this character, and she's just not gonna do damage. They're always gonna try to play Farazan with her, and she's just not gonna do damage. I don't like this kit. I think it's not that it's needlessly complicated. I think it's misguided, and it can use more. It's not that it. You know what? Yeah, it does need more direction. I think it needs a stronger direction. What would I say could be the stronger direction? Have a bonus for getting the 6th shot charged. That could be cool. So maybe the 6th shot does double damage if you charge to it. That could be a cool little incentive to do the full charge. What else could they do? Have remove some of the RNG on that 3rd charged bullet. I don't know how you get rid of the RNG while keeping C1 the way it is, but I'd like to see them find a way and just have it be based on party order exclusively. I would also like to see, I'd like to know what her interruption resistance is. Maybe she can't be staggered while she's charging, and like that's a non-issue. That'd be cool. That'd be nice to see. I kind of doubt it though. But yeah, that's just something we're gonna have to wait to find out more about. We also need to know about her energy requirements, because her burst is a 60 cost, and it could be unfeasible for her to fund on her own, especially if she's solo Animo, because her burst is fairly important for her damage. I think you could give her the Navia bonus, or the Navia passive, to incentivize teams with 2 elements. I don't know where you add that to her kit. If you're not aware, Navia gets attack % for every non-Geo character in a party. And I think Chasca could benefit from something really similar. Maybe make it damage % for damage % of the element for each party member of that element in the party. So like 20% for 20 pyro bonus for each pyro character in the party, 20 hydro bonus for each hydro character in the party. I'd like to see that. So even if you gear her wrong, you're still getting some baseline damage bonus. So she's still doing damage at minimum. New complaints about Chasca. She has a blind spot. Effectively, as Chasca is flying around on her giant gun, she can't target enemies directly beneath her. If there is an enemy beneath Chasca, she will not be able to hit them. She has a blind spot. I don't know. I don't know why they, bruh. But yeah, she has a blind spot.